Hi there puzzlers, welcome back to Laura's Cosy Puzzle Corner. I'm going to get started on a new 500 piece jigsaw today, and carrying on from the afterglow puzzle that I did recently, I'm going to be doing this new one which is called Borreal. This is also part of the Cherish Your World with Dulk series, and as you can see it's a leopard and there's lots of things going on around him. There's a monkey and a dolphin. I think that's a shark up there, and then there's a bird. Lots of blue sky, I would say. I don't think it's water, no, it's sky. Yeah, so there's lots going on. 500 pieces. I really enjoyed putting the other one together, and I've already sold that one on Vinted, so I'm going to get working on this one. And yeah, glad that you're here to join me. So I'm going to turn the camera around now. I'm going to have a little chat as well. I'm just going to talk today about letting go of things and you know how that can impact us. So yeah, I'll turn the camera around and we can have a little cosy chat. All right, see you there. Hi there puzzlers. So I'm going to get to work on this Borreal Ravensburger jigsaw puzzle, 500 pieces, and it is part of the Cherish Your World by Dulky. I don't know if you say it Dulk or Dulky, or that's the artist. I'll look that up so I get that right. But yeah, beautiful picture, and I can't wait to get started. So I'm just going to put my box lid on my little puzzle box lid holder, which is very helpful. And I bought this off Facebook Marketplace, and it looks like somebody has kept all the pieces separate for me, so that's quite nice. Doesn't often happen. We've also got a nice poster here, look. There we go. Borreal, an endangered snow leopard resting on a tree limb carrying a circus tent on its back, led by a golden snub-nosed monkey and Borreal. Ethereal underwater creatures float nearby, memories of other animals take shape in the snow, and twilight blends between dawn and dusk. Inspired by nature, Spanish artist Dulk, aka Antonio Segura, includes small targets in his surreal works to emphasize the threat and fragility of various species. And then he's put a little comment here. Earth is an incredible inspiration source, an incalculable natural treasure that we are lucky to call home. My goal of converting nature into dramatic artwork is to create awareness about the conservation and protection of species through artistic interventions. I hope to change people's behaviour for the preservation of our precious ecosystems by inspiring them to take positive action towards protecting our earth and the amazing creatures that inhabit it. And then you can see that is the artist Antonio Segura just there at the bottom. And that's very interesting. I do love leaflets, and getting a bit more information about the artist is always very cool. So let's get started. I've got some edge pieces here, so we'll get those done first. Move my drink over. I've got a couple of trays out. To be honest, I'm going to put the poster to the side because it's just the same size as the box lid, so I may as well use the box lid. And I really enjoyed putting the last one together, and it really wasn't too taxing. There was lots of colours and things that I was able to pick up on to help build it, so that worked really well. So yeah, let's get going. That's coming down there. I assume that one's up there, and this one's down here. There should be another blue corner. Okay, well, hopefully that will arrive. So let's get this bit going forward. yeah, so I thought I'd talk a little bit today about letting go of things, and how it can be quite hard to do. I've recently made the decision to sell all of my puzzles. I had originally decided that I was going to start collecting. I am a bit of a mad collector of things. You've probably noticed in my room it's full of magazines that I've collected for years and years and years. And it was about a year ago that I decided I needed to start moving them on. I've been selling them for a while, but I had so many that I had to start going through them and actually throwing some out, which was quite hard. But there were just magazines there that I knew would never sell and were just going to sit and gather dust, really. And you know, as you get older, I was going to say mid-50s, but I'm 54, so I'm not quite mid-50s yet. But as you get older, you do sort of start to think that you don't want to have so much stuff. Well, I do. I've been starting to think I don't want to have so much stuff. You know, we might move again in the next couple of years, and at that point I really want to have got rid of as much stuff as I possibly could, especially the majority of these magazines, because I have this whole room full. I've got boxes full upstairs, and I've also got a garage which has got around 50 boxes in, so it's a lot, you know, and I've collected them for a long time, and it's time they got moved on. And I actually love being able to sell them, and I love listing them out, and I love that whole process. And it's nice to, I get a few emails of people saying, oh, I've been looking for this magazine for years, I'm so happy to have found it, and that's always been really nice. Oh, I think that's going to go up there, so let's move that up. Oh, there we go, there's the other corner. I was looking for the wrong colour. Yeah, so that's nice, and I've enjoyed doing that kind of thing, and I will keep doing that, but I am starting to now have to go through with a new eyes and think, do these magazines ever sell? Some of these magazines here will never sell. They're just not in vogue, or a bit of a pun there, but not, you know, they're just not interesting enough for somebody to want to buy them, which is always hard, to be sure. But I've just had to really go in with a tough mindset, and although it was really only created because I started doing my puzzles. So I started doing my puzzles, and I realised there wasn't enough space in here for the both, so something had to give. So I thought, right, okay, well, I'll really start moving these magazines on. I'll have to start throwing some out, because, you know, I have this whole 2 shelves full now behind me of puzzles, and yeah, that was filled with magazines previously. So a lot of those magazines that were there, I have got rid of, thrown out, recycled, you know, moved on. I sold a few job lots of things just to get them moved on. Yeah, so that was good, and I found that quite freeing, to be honest, to get rid of some, because it was too much. But then I realised I'd made this decision that I was going to start collecting puzzles, and, you know, originally when I started I said, oh, that's fine, because, you know, one puzzle in, one puzzle out, I'll do a puzzle, I'll sell it. And then, you know, that changes. I started collecting the Thomas Kincaids and the Amy Stewarts, and then I came across the Dean McAdams, and I was like, oh, I'll just collect this lot, I'll just collect these ones, I'll just collect these ones, you know. And before I knew it, I thought, hang on, there's like probably 200 puzzles alone done by these particular artists. So if I keep collecting them, I'm going to end up with another lot of stuff. And I really don't want to have another lot of stuff. I want to move stuff on. So I had to give myself a good talking to, and came to the decision that I was actually going to let this stuff go. And it got me thinking, you know, about why do I find it so hard to let these things go? Why do I want to collect all this stuff all the time? What is that all about, you know? I don't know if there's something in that. It's really hard to understand it. It's almost like a bit of a security blanket having all this stuff. But yeah, I'm really made a firm decision. You must keep me accountable if you see me changing my mind and I'm talking about this in a few months, saying, oh, I'm going to just keep these ones. You must remind me, no, you said, Laura, that you were going to get rid of all these puzzles. And I love the idea that, you know, I get to do the puzzle, I get to enjoy the puzzle, and then I get to move it on and I get to pass it on to somebody else. I'm not cluttering up my house. Somebody else is getting enjoyment out of the puzzle. It's a real win-win, so there's no reason for me really to hang on to them all the time. That's just something I need to get over. I just need to get it right in my brain. And yeah, so now as I do these puzzles, I will be moving them on and letting somebody else enjoy them. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. But yeah, it did make me wonder why we hold on to these things. And you know, I guess for me, especially with magazines, it used to be something I used to love as a kid. I used to love getting my magazines and going to the shop on a Saturday to pick up my magazine and spend my day reading my magazines on a Saturday when I was young. So there is obviously some nostalgia connected to that. But I do tend to go all in with things. I guess that's part of my ADHD brain. I do tend to get very absorbed in things and very, you know, I want to collect everything. I want to do every single puzzle there is. If I find an artist I like, I want all of their puzzles. I want to do them all. I just go into this real, you know, phase of needing to complete things. That was on there, wasn't it? Which bit are you going to be then? Oh, you're there. It's so hot today. Honestly, I've got my fan on in the background, so hopefully it's not too noisy. But I just couldn't sit in this heat because it is so hot. By the time you're watching this, it'll be a couple of weeks from now, so you'll remember back a couple of weeks ago when the weather was really fierce. And that's what I'm sitting in right now. So yeah, I really would like in the future to be able to move again, and I'd like to do that without having loads and loads of clutter. You know, I do think about my children as well. We've got 6 children between us, and I think about, I wouldn't want them to have to deal with all of this stuff when we're not here anymore. So I feel like it is my obligation to make sure the majority of this stuff is sorted out and gone before we get to that stage. I hope I've got a few years left yet, but you know, to be honest with you, I've spent years collecting it, and I think it's going to take me years to downsize it all, so it's best I start now and get things moved on. There we go. Must be nearly there now. You do go in there. There we go. I know my husband is a hoarder as well. He tends to hold on to all sorts of things. More practical things though, you know. Things like, I don't know, nails and screws and boxes and all sorts of practical things that he thinks, you know, he may get to use again one day. It's very rare that he ever uses any of those things, but he just tends to hang on. So I'm going to be trying to work through. We've got an understairs cupboard which is just full of clutter, stuff we've probably not looked at in 5 years. Clearly we don't need it, so I'm going to start trying to get some of that stuff moved along as well. Where do you go then? So you go there. And then, oh, that was quite quick to put that together, wasn't it? These puzzles are very enjoyable. Sometimes, you know, it's lovely doing a 1,000-piece puzzle, and, you know, some of the more challenging puzzles is great, but sometimes, you know, you just want a quick, nice, easy build. Something that you can really not have to stress too much over. You can just really enjoy it. All these lovely pieces here. And get these all slotted into place. I'm not quite sure where to start here. I think I might go for this orangey bit down here. I'll try and do a bit of a sort. I might pull those tiger bits out. And this is the log that's running through. I think half the time we collect so much stuff, actually we end up forgetting it's actually there. It's just, oh, that's going to go up there. You know, we put things away. I mean, honestly, I need to go through my own wardrobe because I know there's tons of stuff in there that I don't wear, that I'll probably never wear again. I'm really in a decluttering mode. I really want to move things along. Reduce how much stuff. That's why I like places like Vinted and eBay. They're great for moving things on. It's a great way of being able to declutter. My husband did actually go through his wardrobes recently, and he moved a lot of stuff on through Vinted. Yeah, and I was thinking with all these jigsaws, I mean, I've done a couple of Amy Stewart's now, which I have loved so much. But I just think I'm never going to do them again. If I did, it would be in, you know, maybe 10 years or something. Because I have so many other puzzles to work through. So what's the point in hanging on to it for that long? If I really, really, really want it again, I can buy it again in 10 years' time, instead of just storing it for all that time. And the orange ones are going in nicely. think we all have a tendency to hang on to stuff for lots of different reasons. But for some reason, as you get older, it does start to feel more like it. I mean, I feel like it weighs me down, you know. And I don't want it to weigh me down. I feel like I want to feel freer. So I feel really happy with my decision to move things on. It did get me thinking about letting go and how or why sometimes it can feel so hard to let things go. It's nice to think that a puzzle that I've had sitting on my shelf for 2 years and I've now managed to complete and move on is gone to someone else, and they're now going to be getting some enjoyment out of that puzzle rather than it just sitting there gathering dust for me, which is what would have happened and what has happened in the past. I mean, I have puzzles that have been sat on my shelf. Oh look, a double piece. Yeah, that have been sat on my shelf for years and years. So to know I'm moving those on now is actually a good feeling. It's making me want to do some of my older puzzles, but I do find that really tricky because I have so many new ones coming in that I tend to get sidetracked. So I'm going to maybe try and do an old and then a new, an old and then a new, so that I kind of keep up with both ends of the scale. I feel like you should go in there somewhere, but glue. I'm really looking forward to downsizing now. I think I've had such high pressured job life that the thought of having less things, the thought of having, you know, a smaller home, maybe going down to a 2-bed bungalow or something, and just reducing as much possible stress as I can. I really can't wait. I've still got 2 girls at home, as you know, so it's not going to be overly quick, but certainly next few years I think we'll get there. It's like a black, oh, it's that there, it's a bird. Yeah, I'd love to know in the comments below how you tackled being in this scenario, because I'm sure some of you have been, as you're getting later into life and thinking about downsizing and getting rid of things. Possessions just aren't so important anymore. We've lived in the same house now for 6 years, might even be 7. So the thought of moving and having all of this stuff to drag with us is just not appealing at all. I just want to be able to make it as simple as possible. Yes. Okay. I feel like I should be separating this turquoisey colour and putting it all together. I did think whether I should keep hold of some of my actual real favourite puzzles. I did my very first Amy Stewart, for example, was the Winter Reading Nook, and I loved it. And I think, should I keep hold of it? But I kind of keep coming back to the same conclusion, which is that A, it will sit on a shelf for years, never getting done, and that just seems really sad, because it's such a beautiful puzzle. I think other people should be able to enjoy it. I'll probably be in here in 10 years time crying about the fact that I can't actually get hold of it anymore and it's now well out of print and nobody has it, and unless I pay £200 I can't have it. But you know, I can't hang on to everything just in case. There are literally so many puzzles out there. I'm never going to be stuck for a puzzle to do, that's for sure. And one thing I've really noticed is how nice it feels to be moving stuff on. I feel like, it's hard to explain, but somehow it felt like having all of these magazines here was a protection. I don't quite know why it feels like that, but it did. But now I'm starting to move some on. I mean, this room that I'm in here where I'm doing my jigsaw, you couldn't move in here a year ago. It was full of boxes, full of magazine boxes. And now that I'm actually starting to move them on and, you know, declutter, I feel better in myself. And I think, to be honest with you, once all of the magazines are gone, I will feel a lot better. But I can't just throw them all away. That doesn't feel a right thing to do. There's lots of nostalgia here. I've had the magazines a long time. I love listing them. I just need to really cut down, you know, how many I'm going to actually try and list. And also I think I need to have a better system of when they've been listed for 3 years. You know, actually maybe that is time to move them along now. And I'm not very good at that. So yeah, I'm just trying to get better at the whole thing, really. and I could quickly see that I was trading one obsession with the magazines for another obsession with the puzzles, and I was just going to end up building up a massive, I could imagine this whole room in a year or two, this whole room would be full of them. And that kind of goes against the point of what I'm trying to achieve overall, which is to reduce the amount of stuff that I have. Quite a lot of what's this coming in here then, because oh yeah, okay, so that's going to go on there. There we go. Yeah, there's quite a lot of blue. There's some varying shades in there, but I don't know how tricky that's going to be when I get to it. I can already see that this turquoise area is going to come together quite quickly because there's not lots of it, so it'll be easy to build. Quite sturdy pieces these are. Definitely recommend this range of puzzles by Ravensburger. I think there's always things would be find difficult to part with, or things that are really sentimental. And that's, you know, I've got no issue there. It's more the bulky stuff. It's more the magazines, and the puzzles could very easily take over my life, and I'm not going to let that happen. Well, not in a storage point of view anyway. Certainly take over my life in a enjoyable doing puzzles kind of way, but I'm absolutely fine with that. Okay. I think I feel quite good about the fact that I'm not trying to declutter everything overnight. I think that would just have caused me a lot of stress. I think that's why I feel it's really important for me to work on this now, and work on reducing all this stuff so I can do it over a few years really, and just gradually end up with less and less things. I knew these would go in quite easy. Oh, it's nearly all gone in. That's very satisfying. All gone in very well. I suspect there's a few bits in here I've left behind. So I might have to come back to those. Oh, this is coming in here somewhere. Okay, let's see if I can finish sorting before I try and get too ahead of myself. Yeah, it would be great to let me know in the comments if you do have a tendency to hoard things and keep lots of stuff. I'm sure a fair few of you will have a lot of jigsaws in your collections and will probably feel like me that, you know, moving them on is quite hard to do. Well, that's coming together quite well as well now. The bottom of the C there. I think that is right. Yep. Right, so I'm just trying to think which bit I'm going to move on to now. Thinking it's probably going to be this piece here. I've got quite a lot of bits out, but there is obviously the leopard coming in as well, and I haven't got those bits out yet. Oh look, I've got the leopard's eyes, they're coming in up here. Yeah, it's going to be around there somewhere. Looks a bit like his nose. Yeah, oh, there's a bit of his eye as well. Okay, fabulous. Think, is that coming in? No. Oh, it's quite tricky because there must be a tree bit coming in here. But it's not easy to know which tree bit it's going to be. I don't think I particularly put any oranges in here. Oh, there's one. Okay. I find sometimes just building up the bits around me without focusing on getting them into the actual puzzle, but just building those bits up can really help. And then all of a sudden I find where a bit goes and I can get a whole load in. That goes in there. Now this is all to do with this fish up here. Let's see if we can do a bit more of this fish character. Quite similar to the snow. I think that goes there actually. So there must be something attaches there. I think that goes there. That bit goes in there, and then this bit I think must join there. Yeah. Okay. So I know we've got this green fish coming in. And it's going to come in there somewhere. That does not go there, but there is, the tail comes round again, so I think that's coming down a bit later. There we go, look. Now this could potentially going to be something else before that bit attaches. And then this carries on. this could come in down here somewhere. I'm not quite sure how. Okay, so this is coming up here, I think, somehow, somewhere. Once I get hooked into the puzzle, I do notice that I don't speak so much. Hopefully that's not off-putting. I'm just very engrossed right now. I do always really like having you here to keep me company, knowing that you're watching while I'm doing the puzzle. It's just really nice. Leopard's eyes in there. Now I've got the monkey coming in. Monkey is coming together now. There's a little hat there. It's going to come in there somehow. The monkey is sitting. Yeah. go. Looks like I'm going to be building the leopard at the end, which I think is going to be quite tricky. Okay. There we go. Well, that's something, but I can't see where this bit's going to go unless it's coming in. Could be here actually. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's coming in there. Isn't it lovely how puzzling relaxes you so much? I feel so relaxed now. After a long day, it's just really nice to just be able to switch off your brain. Just put your thoughts into doing a puzzle. I definitely feel like it reduces my stress levels. And then you get that little dopamine hit when all the bits start coming together. It's like a real sense of achievement. going to go up there. Right, so let's get this tray, see if we can find some of these missing bits. Struggling a bit with the light in here today. Sometimes, maybe it's the puzzle. In fact, that's probably is the puzzle, isn't it? Some days it's fine and other days I find it really tricky. Oh, okay, so that's actually his tail. I see. That goes in there. Oh, this is this guy down here. This is actually his eye. I should have more bits to finish these two things off. I really hope one day when I move I'll have a nice bright puzzle room, maybe overlooking the garden or something would be lovely, and then I could have natural light in here or in there. But yeah, it'd be lovely to have a nice bright puzzle room. I see sometimes on Facebook and some of the Facebook groups I'm on where people are sharing pictures of themselves in the garden doing their puzzle, and I think, oh, that'd be so lovely. We don't really have a garden, we have a backyard. It's not really ideal for sitting in and doing puzzles. We've also got a kind of, I don't know what you call it, but is it a pagoda or something? So there's no, even if I was to sit out there, there's no light, because I struggle with the heat, so. Yeah, I do look forward to the day where I can just sit out and enjoy a puzzle. Maybe not in this heat, not right now, but you know, on a nice 15 degrees kind of day would be lovely, I think. Okay, you're going there. To get to work on these blues really, and then I'll be able to get that. I'll put that on there for a minute. Yeah, I'm feeling the blues might come next actually. I'll save the tiger till the end. I really do enjoy doing the bits that are all just one colour. I don't know why, but I should find a few sort of finishing off bits as I'm doing this. I don't know where you go actually. Quite dark bits at the top. Probably would help me now to sort them into shape. I don't often do that, but it is quite a helpful thing to do, especially when you're facing a big chunk of puzzle that's all the same colour. Cool. Yeah, okay. work out where that's going to go actually. Okay, we'll come back to that. Okay, so that is coming in there. So actually, okay, that's it. And then this is coming in over here. Perfect. So hopefully you can see how this is already helping me, sorting these into shapes. I love getting a section completed, so I'm really looking forward to finalising this sky. Or, I mean, it looks like sky, but then there's fishes and things floating through it. I think that's why I get confused, because I think, well, maybe it isn't sky, maybe it's actually meant to be water. And then there is a big tiger in the middle of it, so I'm not quite sure. Does that go down there? No. It's quite a distinctive blue bit there. Right, so there's not many blue bits left. It shouldn't be that tricky now. Just get these in and done. Mhm. Mm. So satisfying to get all these bits in now. I love it. Lovely. Right, so I'm fairly sure I should be able to offload these bits pretty easily. these snow bits to do now. Actually, there's the fish. Let's get that done, because that should be fairly straightforward. Only, there we go. I've got that one top bit done. So now the top is all complete. I knew this was going to be the trickiest bit. I'm just going to have to go for it. So that is to do with the fish. going to go on there. Lovely. Maybe should do them into shapes again. I think that would probably help me. I'll give it 5 minutes and see how I'm progressing. this double bit's going to come in somewhere. Oh, there we go, look. Strange having a double bit. For those of you that watch my channel, you'll know that I recently did a meter U-bow puzzle which had a double bit. Well, it was all double bits, so yeah, that was quite tricky. I think it actually took me longer to take it apart than it did to make it. It took such a long time. I had to literally take every piece apart individually because it took so long. I kind of had to wiggle every bit out of its place. It's a lovely puzzle though. We are definitely nearing completion. I think that goes there. Oh no, it goes here, look. So oh, there we go. There you are. and the final piece going in. There we go. Oh, that didn't take too long. Well, it certainly didn't feel like it took too long. It's all come together lovely. Just get such satisfaction from completing a puzzle. Such a feel-good feeling to get it all done and see the rewards of your hard work. So yeah, thank you for joining me today. And sorry if I was a bit quiet towards the end, but I get so engrossed in the puzzle it becomes harder to chat. But yeah, I really appreciate you sticking with me, and I hope you've been enjoying a nice puzzle or doing something equally relaxing while you've been watching me put this together. Alright, it's lovely to have you with me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this kind of thing. Alright, take care. Bye.